Hey Priscilla, you're on, but it looks like your video is maybe off.
Let's see. Okay, great. All right. Hi, everyone. Grateful to be a part of this. I'm going to begin with a poem published by Social Text called The Clockmen, which was a part of a collaboration in response to Nick Mertzoff's book, Seeing in the Dark. The Clockmen. All day the talk is lint. Committees meet and look at their calendars. The carpet hardly moves. The lobby doesn't even smell of corpses. It's Monday here. There's a salad bar here. In Rafah, a wall is blown off by somebody's son. He's gotten his life back on track now. His father doesn't cry outside his door anymore. A tiny nozzle missed the lettuce. The clock on each laptop jogs on its treadmill. At 12:31, the meeting resumes. No one looks at the sky anymore. Looking has gotten risky. Once I looked at a birthday cake and saw a president's face. It was burning there next to a piece of my cousin's bedroom. There were no balloons, but when I looked up, I saw a cloud inflating, round and swollen, dark around the edges, bleeding through with light, pulling more and more filament into her breasts, bright, powdery hearts and fleshy grays folding into her, and still more dense, fast-moving bars and flat brown sheets that smothered the sun, curling into her mass until she was heaving, large now, straddling the earth, bearing down. That day, we sang an old song and ate cake with our hands until we had to leave the world we knew behind. But there were some who stayed, gripping their keyboards, even as gales lifted the roof off their box, typing, "Fill out this meeting poll today. You must choose between 205 and 208. This next poem I'm going to read is called For Karima Aboud. It's a poem about a historical figure, the first Palestinian national photographer. With thanks to Julie Rivera and Project Envoy for their invitation to this project, and also with Steve, who's going to be reading soon, and my friend Adri Rose for helping me work it out. For Karima Aboud. Yours was a world all in its place. Your baby brother tucked into his mother's bed, like Galilee was tucked into her Palestine, with that faraway look in her eyes, asking all those questions of the mustache and the dove-necklaced dusk, the organ cooing night. There you are in that unshaken globe, rising so light can find your arms, moving furiously toward the secret chamber of your camera. At 17, you looked where I looked and saw Bethlehem painted slick with pink and soapy whites. No reenactors were hired that morning. The birds woke and found a sesame candy bar teeming with larvae. A shopkeeper's sleeves danced with pine-pricked light as he wiped the dust off a cup. Nothing held still but your finger choosing where to freeze the hour. 1919 Palestine, a silver life. Yes, We were acrobats standing on a bottle-propped chair, shy young mothers of peach-cheeked babes with fine thread along our hips. Yes, we were peasants memorizing the beetles of the fields, old men breathless among Sebastia's columns. We were crowned Miss Palestine of Akka with pearls down to our waist. And we were barefooted teens pulling water from a Nazareth's well, with a half smile and a palm to shade our eyes. Yes, we were that perfumed city kid, briefly immaculate for you, Our Lady, our national photographer. But time rushed in, and when you took another picture, your baby brother had fallen from the bell tower, and there were soldiers grabbing a shopkeeper by his sleeves. And when you looked again, Zionists were photographing the planes, plucking postcards from apartments. Oh, photographer of the sun, after your death, we knocked on the water tank and suffocated among smugglers. Still, your camera returns us, tall and tan, to our towns and our farms. Oh, we are the land's lavish fruits. I'm going to turn it over now to Eleni.
Hello, I'm Eleni Stakopoulos. I'm going to begin with two poems by the Palestinian poet and novelist Hiba Abu Nada, translated from the Arabic by Huda Fakhreddin. Abu Nada was killed by an occupation airstrike in her home in Gaza at the age of 32. She should be here with us, reading her poetry, just as all the Palestinian poets, writers, scholars, and many journalists who have been murdered should be here and free to speak. We will continue speaking in their memory and in solidarity with all Palestinians. Seven skies for the homeland. In our lungs is a homeland, and on our breath, an exile. The homeland that rushes in our veins as our footsteps edge toward it. It grows in the groves of sorrow, a vine of strangers, glances like tears hanging. It gifted us its tune and gave up all the singing. Can we deny it? Can it deny us when it is our blood and we have mastered the bleeding? In our books, hunger and bread are synonyms, light and darkness, all broken shards. I have learned to find hope in the extremes of love and rain clouds in the desert of rhymes. It's a homeland that returns to us naked, but knows how to wrap us around it like robes. In our blood, it hides seas and launches ships with our heartthrobs. It tucks its sidewalks in our pillows and its cities in our dreams. Will it slumber in us for eternity and continue to invent time again and again? Like these olive trees that stand as strangers, their color and taste alien, there is no room for us in this universe. Like a narrow corridor, it closes in. It's as if we were scandals, our longing a crime, and the love of our country a sin. Not just passing. Yesterday, a star said to the little light in my heart, We are not just transients passing. Do not die. Beneath this glow, some wanderers go on walking. You were first created out of love, so carry nothing but love to those who are trembling. One day, all gardens sprouted from our names, from what remained of hearts yearning. And since it came of age, this ancient language has taught us how to heal others with our longing, how to be a heavenly scent, to relax their tightening lungs, a welcome sigh, a gasp of oxygen. Softly, we pass over wounds, like purposeful gauze, a hint of relief, an aspirin. Oh, little light in me, don't die, even if all the galaxies of the world close in. Oh, little light in me, say, enter my heart in peace. All of you, come in. Finally, I want to honor the words of the poet and novelist Nasser Rabah, translated by Alex Tan. Rabah lives in Gaza, and he is taking part in this global reading today. The dream is the cane I lean on, so that my path might continue to unfurl. And the dream becomes reality if I believe in it. It is a verbal blueprint for the architecture of future days. I dream of a free Palestine, of a state and a flag. I dream that my poem will be sung by generations to come.
I'm Camille Roy, really happy to be here. And my thanks to all participants and the support staff. I'm going to read a few poems, mostly by Palestinians, and then one by myself. This is Lina Abu Taleb. It's called Languaging Memory. You, we, I. Do you remember? He was your age now. Tall, the rifle, 4, then 7, then 10. Qalandia, Ramallah, September, Yarmouk, Kuwait. Can you say the name? Everyone wants futility. Let them languish and despair, disguising pride and cowardice. I am born in fugitive, the cover of eternity clothing me. If not this life, the next. If not us, the next. They will forget. I list massacres in my head by the decade. What has been stolen cannot be said. What do I know of theft? What do I know of loss? My lungs permanently damaged from the tear gas. I'm scared for my womb. April, the fear of motherhood. What was I supposed to tell him? Miriam called. Did they think one begets emptiness? Father of what? The strikes left on me like an infant suckling. My daughter will hold them as I have, like her mother. She will grow into her mother, the banner of fire setting her aflame. The prison, the sound bombs, the stampedes. I grew up with hands tracing the walls in search of radios, training paranoia. My mother's daughter, her eyes and her will. I know the shape war leaves. I too played between the abandoned homes, stuck my fingers through the bullet holes like a portal, a looking glass into the other side, imagining the width of despair as if I am not made of my mother's fractured hips and begotten memory. I still know the shape of the bunker. We spent 20 years not eating lentils afterwards. Would you give birth in Palestine? I can no longer wait. I remember forever now, embraced in the still death, how memory becomes tangible, genetics permanently altered. I speak like my father. How beautiful you are, Habibi, to Bernie. I'll see you on the other side, our children naming the fruits. This is Nima Hassan. In Gaza, a mother never sleeps. She listens to the dark, searches its edges, sorts out sounds, sound by sound, to select a suitable story to read her kids to sleep. When they sleep, she stands up to shield them from death. A mother in Gaza does not cry. She folds up fear, rage, and prayers in her lungs and waits for the hum of warplanes to fade, then exhales. A mother in Gaza is not like other mothers. She bakes bread with her own eyes, salt. She feeds her children to the homeland. Omer Sakr. Sometime in the genocide, it was a Thursday when thousands of the murdered passed through me, ungentle as any love parting. I ate my dinner on the floor, cold as God, hairy as any animal. I tried to hold them. I think I reached out at least, shuddering. They did not slow their passage, and with them went every feeling. This is untitled. Once was hawk in a dream. High up I rose as the scroll of the land revealed itself. I found my people at the place after fire, a place sufficient for small creatures, but not for us. As we were told, a storyteller came through, but he convulsed in his tears, refused to leave. A man named Salmon dug up food that had been buried under a cairn. All that we could eat existed. Much walking in silence. Someone found a gate and held it open. The old perfection of forms called us. We have the vigor of equivalence. We'll build a city from scraps of cloth. So I'm going to now turn it over to Lindsay Bolt.
This is Lindsay Bolt. I am the editorial director of Nightboat Books, and I am speaking to you from Lisan Ohlone land, Oakland, California. And I'll be reading some poems by Edward Salem, the author of Monk Fruit, which came out this fall. So here we go. Ode to blank blank. Take off your pants as you read this. Push them down to your ankles. Keep your underwear on. Don't be gross. Open Instagram, close Instagram. Open Instagram, close Instagram for 2 minutes straight, which may feel absurd. What are the odds you've seen slain Palestinians with your pants down if you kept Instagram open? Don't resent me for this line of questioning. This bearable conflation, like magenta carnations at the mass grave. The actions I'm asking you to take in this poem is, you decide. Just do something. Assassinate Biden's corpse. Give what you can. Hi, it's Bisan. I'm still alive. I'm sorry for the disturbing video. There are no more universities, no business as usual, no words. Lavender, coke, white phosphorus. Come to daddy, finish the job, give what you can. All proceeds go to the most moral army in the world, wiping out entire families from the public registry, mowing the lawn, poppies, child amputees, Motaz, Plestia, help us evacuate, armed settlers, Jewish Ways for Peace, Sean King, Rami, pinkwashing, Aaron Bushnell, red triangle, red line, Tatrees, parachutes, losing your degree, from the river to the sea, helicopter lost in the mountains, no excuse, to look away, deny, or defend the genocide. The second Nakba, the ongoing Nakba, Nakba 2.0. If I must die, GoFundMe, The Pier. Uncommitted, Art Build, Hind Rajab, Tunnels, Signal Threads, Bird Dogging, Kibbutz Blinken, Rifat Al-Arir's Kite, Targeting Journalists, Strawberries, Hala Consulting and Tourism, Pepper Spray, Aid Trucks, Sinwar Stick, Drone Strikes, Board of Regents, U.S.-made bombs, Marriage Among Tents, Rashida Tlaib, Shadow Band, Forced Starvation, Bella Hadid, Doxed, Beheaded Babies, Never Biden, Student Encampments, Fuck Bernie, Fuck CNN, Diasporic Judaism, Internet Outage, At Meta, Barricades, Jerusalem, Liberated Zone, Genocide, Crossing into Egypt, Ceasefire, $5,000 per adult, Watermelon, Atrocity Fatigue, Hamas, eSIMs, Hamas, Elbit Systems, ICJ, PAC-B, SIOS, Teach-In, Pariah State, Instagram, Settler Colonialism, Demolished Hospitals, Hind Hall, Court Support Needed, Salam, Kola, Freedom Flotilla, Resignations, Wawag, Hostage Exchange, Car Rally, BDS, Return, Ismail Haniya, IOF, Repost, Israel, Naksa, Palestinian Prison Literature, Velour Blankets, Movement Lawyers, General Strike, Satan Yahoo, Anti-Zionist, General Assembly, Disrupting a Weapons Manufacturer, Right to Resist, Mutual Aid, Ground Operation, Infants Freezed to Death, Normalization, Apartheid, Western Media, Manufactured Famine, Macklemore, Disappearing Students, Starbucks, Skunk Water, Deported by ICE, Globalize the Intifada, Let Gaza Live. The Palestinian Chair. God said, and already you can tell I'm making this up, if you lift a rock, I am there. If you lift a finger, I am there. If Blackwater rips out your fingernails, I am there, God said. If you're strapped into the contraption the Israelis told the CIA they call the Palestinian Chair, hands tied to your ankles, forcing you to lean forward in a crouch, forcing all of your weight onto your thighs as if you've been trapped in the act of kneeling to pray, knees suspended above the floor, arms pinned below your legs, blindfolded, your head collapsed into your chest, wheezing and gasping for air, a pool of urine at your feet, too tired to cry, but in too much pain to remain silent, locked into a permanent squat from which you can't recover. I am there. God said, when 20 million Yemenis become silhouettes under pallid veils of skin, dying of starvation in 2016, 2020, 2024, 2028, 2032, while you scarf down Lam Agda at Yemen Cafe in Hamtramck, I am there. After life is over, you realize that you were there for all of it. It was all you. Dabbles. The African Bead Museum is falling apart. A GoFundMe has been started. There are already so many GoFundMes going around. Lately, life is like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but instead of Kevin Bacon, it's Gazans fleeing genocide. But Detroit has needs too, I'm reminded. Or do I mean poor Black Americans who once placed their hopes in Obama? We're learning how to ride the internet like an unbroken horse. We're giving money to each other. $100, $25. Sometimes a famous poet will give $500 and leave their name up. The Dead Sea Scrolls of the future could be screenshots of a poet's donations, or Gazan faces, or bejeweled mirrored mosaics falling from rotten cladding. Thanks, everyone. That was Edward Salem. Free Palestine.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Dickinson, and really grateful to be here with all of you, and a special thanks to Ghazal, Vince, and all the crew, everybody doing the organizing and all these sessions today. I'm going to read one poem. It is called Syllabary. I'll read about the first half of the poem. It's a longish poem. And yes, Syllabary. See your tear, big as a coffee spill. Maybe it's mine. Words get delivered by dreams, so belief's not required. If I hadn't gone back to sleep, it would have landed at the neighbors or in one of those red velvet seats in the audience. Miriam Boulos, her photograph found. It reads, I love you to death in Arabic. Characters, red marker, that's how it is. Theater, Versailles, Beirut, winter, November 2013. Theater named after France's Sun King is defunct. Part of what's beautiful in the photo is that. Last night, the afternoon dose of Yemeni coffee, rose petal milk cake in honor of the Yemenis, induced a kind of artificial somnolence, sleep where you feel you recognize yourself to be sleeping through a madcap string of rooms. The School of Circus Arts had to draw pictures. What was done was too terrible for the eye of any camera to hold inside. The donkey in the waste of its blood, eyes wide as day, night-lighted earth, where is no theater, none is meant. Rideau or curtain or drapeau or banner or sheath, pinwheel of orange sparks, child's moving arm, their small voice is not meant to sound under collapse of all that is. Unearthed still says adhered to the earth, doesn't it? Words won't agree to approximate, nor touch, nor salve, olive child, her moving hand, breath envelope holding. Amjad refuses to take my money for his work. Holding in the sound a syllable that's not a word, mouth that won't bring itself to shape and sound any word, syllabary been emptied in advance of its words. Clouds aren't meant to rise blood red from the bed of the street. The road, the wreck, who's seen before that dark, swollen red as a cloud, as twin clouds erupted counter the sky. What has always been night until it couldn't be that. The dream that's trying to get in wants you asleep first. Giant crow, aren't you the raven clicking its click song? How would turning pictures into words do anything? Adding words to pictures, pouring music over this, or into its veins, or onto what's spilling from them. Dream that's dying to get in needs sleep become present. Gently lifted while asleep and carried from the car. It's winter in that mental picture, cold air alive, carried from car to bed as if by dream while sleeping, being lifted and carried while alive, breathing air. Many buildings and numbers fit into great long blocks. You're not carrying with you anything they can use. I fled down some metal stairs to where, as it gets told, this mental traveler moving, unpowered, unwilled, as if, say you're the mom, you're walking, you would stumble, you can stumble upon it, your hand is drawn to touch. They're metal, made to look like food or candy or trash. Somebody designed this, sketched it out, a proposal for approval by the client of the army of. It's harder to hear when I can't see your eyes moving. The neighborhood where they throw out more food than they eat. I'm not brave, the guy said. If you yell at me, I cry. Everything pretty much one carries is contraband. You who'd lost everything, who I hadn't spoken with, appeared in the dream in the open chair beside me. What can be seen doesn't need to be comprehended. What can't be comprehended over again. Even made of exhaustion collapsing on itself. Who petition for relief from hell wins containment. The sentences being pronounced keep making noises as faint to mask, shield, absolve, excuse, dissociate. We'll have eaten and ate, planted outside city gate, the thousand on thousand on thousand on thousandfold. Dove ruckus, oriole, quail, red finch, cardinal femme, hummingbird siphoning up how many times its weight, wild burros trained by tourists to stand in the street. Las Vegas in the parking lot outside the Gold Spike. I sat in the car and listened to the radio. It was this story of his sister, her brother, who, having given permission to be pre-recorded, every sound that's sounding takes shape closely between them, the voices and our radio interlocutor. Nothing disturbing, a drift of tone, a lay of phrase, as if there's no outside, no entity that issues evacuation orders. What evacuates what? For this dream, someone translates what another one speaks on the fly. What's said is transcribed as lines in a poem. Light blue dust in place of what should be the sky, the air. While you slept, you've entered the valley of light blue dust. Drag the baby from the crevice next to the boy who's 5. Any tool meant on behalf of people forbidden, since destroyed, seen. All they know how to do is destroy. We were tired and wanted to talk, so we lay down. It felt good touching you, even with my hand in dream. Resting in the streets, not prescribed since raw industry reignites with one truck, wordless driver at the wheel. Framing one picture by laying it over top one other picture, somewhat larger, contrasting in tone. Upright spines of books imitating piano keys. How photo pages with no text will be felt to be opaque in terms of transparency, yet legible by other terms of vision, say, opacity holds. The intrusion entered through the mirror to the room, foregrounded yellow-pink rose, not the Damascene rose. Someone's mother in focus, a rose-colored hoodie, green swing set, still itself, amid brown smoke drift of bomb. Who's not looking into the mirror you're seeing out? Thank you.